Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Since I plan to cover a lot more Rocket Scooter in the near future, I just wanted to do a video on the basics of the platform. This will likely change over time since their dev team is rapidly adding new features. However, I'll be sure to talk about new features as they get released. Before we get started, I'll leave several referral codes for the trading services I use in the description, including Rocket Scooter, Elite Trader Funding, and TradingView that will give us both discounts. Lastly, if you enjoyed this channel, don't forget to like and subscribe to help me grow it. With all that being said, let's get right into it. So, Rocket Scooter, you guys have seen a couple videos on it so far, and I just want to take a step back to make sure that we understood why I like it and what all this stuff means that I'm talking about. So the nice thing about it is it's a replacement for Bookmap or Spot Gamma. It's basically those services on steroids, and the nice thing, and it means that we have to do minimal prep work for our trades. It makes it very easy to know when to take the best trades. It has really just stunning accuracy with their hedge pressure levels, which I'll talk about. And you can also, if you're like me and you have a full-time job, you can set alerts and know when it's time to pay attention based on the data they provide and take great trades when the alert triggers. So they have two different apps right now. They have their classic app and their TradingView app, and just to show what those look like, when you first go to their homepage, you'll be presented with this screen. I'll talk about the Discord in a second. They also have a lot of great educational videos. They're very long, but they're definitely worth going through. And when you click on the main Rocket Scooter app, this will pull up their TradingView version of the app, which they have their own custom indicators they've made that you can add in. So the ones we are concerned with are zones, walls, and they also have resilience indicators for the NASDAQ and the S&P 500. Those are the main ones that I have on there right now. However, because it's not during market hours, this won't display anything, which I know is something that they're going to change in the future, but currently it needs to be during market hours. They also have the scanner down here. What's nice about the scanner is when we see the market open up, so say if we see SPY open up on a bear short down day, which we just had, we can actually go into this scanner and scan for other tickers that match that in case we don't want to trade SPY. It's not going to show anything right now, but we could trade other tickers like it and potentially get a bigger move out of those, especially if they're already primed to look like they're going down and they correlate strongly with SPY. Then those could be great plays, and it opens up a lot of options for us. Now, back on this homepage, if we go to the classic app, you can also just get the raw numbers. So you can type in the ticker you want to see, and you basically, in the monthly expiration, you put the closest third Friday. Now, this 19th just passed. We're on the weekend, so starting tomorrow, we would want to pick the third Friday in September, which would be September 16th. The reason being is because these are big monthly options expiration events that they base a lot of their data off of, a lot of the dealer positioning for the monthly options expirations, as well as the weekly. But you just basically pop the date in there, hit refresh, and down here it's going to show us our hedge pressure and our monthly hedge pressure levels. Now, we do get more out of the TradingView app because they also have half gaps and on the fly resilience indicators we can see. This does also show resilience here that you could pay attention to, and then it will populate half gap and things like that when the market's open for us. And these terminologies can be found in the Discord as well in terms of the yellow line and red line. And then we also see all of our important walls, meaning various levels where there's a lot of gamma exposure for calls or puts, and this helps us determine which zone we're in, which I'll talk about shortly. So you have that option as well as the TradingView app. I prefer the TradingView app, even though it's not quite as feature rich, and it's still new, so that I'm just full disclosure, they're still working on it. It's still not perfect, but it's definitely getting a lot better every single day. So the other thing that I love about them is their Discord. The Discord that Rocket Scooter has a lot of information in there for us, whether it be strategy guides, their liquidity map, which is it contains their playbook, which is very important, different bots that push out different numbers every day. And then they also do morning conversions. So I'm a futures trader, and I love the fact that they automatically tell me the important levels I need to pay attention to when I'm trading futures, both for daytime trading and afternoon trading. And just to show what the Discord looks like briefly here, we can see that we have all these strategy guides. This is really cool because it talks about how to use their platform for swing trading, what to look for between bear markets and bull markets, different trading strategies you can use their platform with, the rules that you can use for stop losses. As I mentioned, liquidity map, which we'll come back to, different things about VIX and important information about hedging mechanics and things like that, resilience and how that all works. And then their bots every night will push out important overnight levels so you can trade overnight. They also have different risk intervals set, which you can read about more in the Discord. The Doomsday bot, that's still a brand new feature, so I'm not going to get into it here, but I will when that's available for everyone. Right now it's just available for their lifetime users. And then morning conversions you can find here. And then also they just have a really great community that discuss different trades and different tickers to watch. So it's nice to be in this Discord. And if the platform does have problems, you could still find all the important numbers here in this Discord and then just pop them on your chart and trade it like you normally would without having to depend on their TradingView app. And so I want to talk about important terminology of this platform so we understand what we're talking about as I do these trade recaps that I'm going to be doing with my funded account, my Elite Trader funding account. So call walls and put walls are areas where there's large bull or bear positions accordingly, essentially where market makers have a good amount of gamma exposure where we may encounter resistance. And then there is hedge pressure, which is a level where based on where we open determines if we're gonna go long or short when we reach that level. And it's essentially where we can expect, based on weekly options expirations, where we can expect market makers to really step in, inject a lot of volume, and push the market either up or down. Monthly hedge pressure is the same thing, but based around monthly OPEX, which again is the third Friday of every month. We just had one on August 19th, 2022, this past Friday. And then when we look at their liquidity maps, some important terms are B equals bull. So if we open in the bull zone, bear equals BR equals bear if we open in the bear side in that put zone with all those put walls. Long means that we're looking to buy calls or buy longs if we're trading futures. And essentially, if we open above hedge pressure, we'll look to take longs when we touch hedge pressure. S equals short, just the opposite of that, go short if we touch hedge pressure, which worked out beautifully this past Friday. I just released a video about a trade recap this past Friday for August 19th, 2022, where it was a bear short down day. And so we can see down here, up or down means when the market opens, if hedge pressure is equal to monthly hedge pressure and the price is above both, that's an up day, or if hedge pressure is above monthly hedge pressure. And then down means if we open below hedge pressure and monthly hedge pressure, and hedge pressure could be equal to or less than monthly hedge pressure, then it's a down day. And I'll show you the playbook, which is in their Discord, which is very important to reference especially when you first start using the platform, so you know how to take this stuff. And then something really cool they have is this half gap, which is the halfway point between the prior day's close and the open at 9:30 a.m. Eastern, which always becomes an important level. And we pair that typically with resilience, which shows us it's a tiebreaker algorithm that basically looks at the index real value and the applied value based on the rate of change of price due to the sum of all implied hedging and gapping effect in all the stocks in the index. So it's basically looking at all the underlying holdings of either the S&P 500 or the NASDAQ and giving us an indication as to whether or not A, hedge pressure, a monthly hedge pressure will hold, or B, if the half gap will hold. And they have two different lines that show that, a gray line and an orange line. And so the gray line is the normal resilience, which typically corresponds with the half gap, and then the orange line is the monthly resilience, which goes into account when we talk about monthly hedge pressure. So just to get into that playbook, when we open the day, when we're using the TradingView app, we'll see it labeled as such. And so on Friday we had a bear short down day. So let me actually just pull this up from their Discord here. If we go to liquidity map, we can click on it here, and let me just open this up. And so we can see that, so it was a bear short down day, and what this basically means is that if this black dot is our opening point, we may just drop, or what's more likely is we'll pull up to hedge pressure or even pull up to monthly hedge pressure and then drop. And that's exactly what happened this past Friday. If you didn't see my other video, they had already specified that monthly hedge pressure on, I'll just pull up SPY in this case, was at 425. And this is what's amazing about it. When we reached that 425 level, so we opened as a bear short down day. So we came up, we had gapped down from the day prior. The half gap was somewhere around 426.80 or something like that, 426.50. I'd have to reference my screenshot to find that. But anyway, that didn't even come into play because monthly hedge pressure and hedge pressure were this same 425 level. And if we just look at the bear short down playbook, when we come up to touch those, we immediately reject, and we just had a massive fall from that point. So we fell from all the way from 425 down to 421.75 roughly before we even started coming up back a little bit, and then the low of day was even lower than that. So we could see this is an area where we had a high volume rejection, this is the hedge pressure and monthly hedge pressure, which is as defined by those definitions, and we can reference that with this playbook. And you can see there's times where call walls and put walls come into play. In particular, if we see it's a mean reversion day, so sometimes you'll see mean reversion long up or mean reversion short down or whatever it might be, which we usually see like the day prior to CPI data or FOMC, things like that. So this past Tuesday and Wednesday, we had FOMC, and this past Tuesday and Wednesday were both mean reversion days, if I remember correctly. And we could see here, typically on mean reversion days, we just bounce between walls. So those will typically, if we look at the classic app, so not talking about hedge pressure here, but so we have call walls at 421, 422. We have put walls at 419, 418. And so based on where we're at, we'll typically see price just bouncing between these walls on SPY, and also ES. You can use futures with this as well. Bull long up days are great days, especially when VIX is dropping. We can see that like bear short down, we typically just either move up or bounce off of hedge pressure or monthly hedge pressure to move up. We could see bull long down days, and you can go through and look at this legend yourself. I don't have to talk about all of these, but essentially no long and open. So when we hit hedge pressure, we'll look to take a long, or if we'll come, monthly hedge pressure, otherwise we'll fall down to hedge pressure. And the difference here is that if you remember the definition previously, in this case, hedge pressure is actually under monthly hedge pressure. So that's why it's a bull long down day, because the hedge pressure and monthly hedge pressure are flipped. Same with the bear short up day. And then, so you have a bunch of different options here, different plays here, which are extremely useful, and it just helps remove emotion from everything, because we don't have to think about where we're going to take our entries and what we're going to do. We can literally set alerts prior to price reaching these hedge pressure levels, or even these half gap levels, once we're done with the hedge pressure stuff, and then take entries accordingly based off of the resilience indicators. And in order from most bullish and most bearish, we can see we have BLU, BSU, BLD, and bear. So bull long up, bull short up, bull long down, or bear long up are all of our most bullish from strongest to weakest. And then just the opposite for the bearish setups. Again, this information's in the Discord, which I highly recommend looking at. And one thing that's great, I kind of alluded to this already, but you can swing trade with this platform, and they've outlined a strategy here on how you can do so. And it's basically just, you can go through in the classic app and plot out all of the levels that we're concerned with every day, and then make decisions based off that. So you can keep your position open, and every day just decide if you want to add to the position or get out of the position based on whether or not monthly hedge pressure is going to break or hedge pressure is going to break. So you do still need to pay attention to it, which we should normally do with any swing positions that we really care about. But it is possible to hold these positions long term. It doesn't just have to be a day trading thing that you close out at the end of the day. just wanted to point that out because that definitely adds a lot of value to this platform for a lot of people. We can go in, set alerts in the beginning of the day, and then only act if hedge pressure or monthly hedge pressure fails or doesn't act the way that it expected to act based on the type of day it is. And then, so they're still a growing service. They have a lot of things that they're working on, a lot of devs building stuff. They have a rational markets indicator, which tells us how, just exactly that, how irrational the market is. If we can expect algos to, market maker algorithms to act the way that we expect them to act. They also have a doomsday indicator, which I won't get into much here because I don't fully grasp it myself, and it's only out for lifetime members right now. It's still being worked on. And then I plan to do many more trade recaps. I've done two so far. So I recommend that you go check those out if you haven't already, because they'll give you an idea of how to use this hedge pressure, monthly hedge pressure, half gaps, things like that. Half gap didn't even come into play on Friday, but in my first Rocket Scooter video titled Predictive Risk Analysis, it did indeed come into play, and it was amazing how Resilience told us exactly when it was going to break, and sure enough it did. So I'm quite impressed with this platform. I know many of you are interested in it, so I have a lot more to come on it, and I'm excited to talk about it and grow my account, and hopefully you grow yours with me. So I appreciate you watching.